Right, what have I got here? Well, it's not the normal review. This is more of a recap because there's a fake alert. Fake alert. Right, thanks to BlueCat786 who was commenting on my Nitecore TUBE video. This is the Nitecore TUBE that I've used for quite a while. Never had any problems with it, and I presumed it was fine. Got a cheap deal with, I think I got 3 at the time and just handed them out to family. And I was none the wiser, but he suspects this may be a fake, and after a little bit of investigation, I think that's possibly the case. So I just wanted to compare this to a real one. So what I did was I went away and I ordered another one, but direct from Nitecore. I didn't go through any retailer, so there's zero chance that this can be fake as well, because there's no point in just ordering another one. You might just get another fake, even if you go to a different supplier. Especially something this simple, I think it's easy for knockoffs, unfortunately. However, I mean, I'm sure there's people who don't care about that and they'll still get a use out of it. One of the things he noticed was, he said for a start that the translucent ones like this are more translucent, and he's right. So this is direct from Nitecore. I haven't even opened the box yet, it's just arrived, and you can see it's very transparent, whereas this is like a smoky transparent. And also the battery looks different. It's not only a different colour, but it looks smaller. You see the way on this side of the fake, it seems to be missing a section. So probably what they've done is, I would suggest, and I'm not an expert on this, but they've probably taken a cheapy small milliamp battery out of like an MP3 player or something and just slapped that in, and then just copied the PCB. That would be my guess. So it'll be interesting to see if there are any other differences. This still works. You've got your, you've got your different modes and what have you. So I've got no complaints if it is a copy, but if it is, I'll just have to smash it. So here's a real one, and I've already gone through this on the other one. So you have the various modes. You have low, high, and then you can hold it and ramp through the modes. And when you plug this one in to charge it, now this is the alleged fake, so we'll plug this in and charge it. Now if you remember, it's got one of these awful little flaps that I don't like on the side. So you plug it in and you get a red light, I think, off the top of my head, if I put it in the right way. There. So when it's charged, and you get a red light, and when it's fully charged, the light simply goes out. Now again, BlueCat786 was saying that's not really how the Nitecores function, so they haven't been able to copy that. So see, it's still working, but if I take that off and then I'll put this back. So let's have a look at the real one. So this is definitely real. This is from Nitecore themselves, straight from the manufacturer. So let's have a look. Okay, so you get your usual, you get your little key ring, which is split ring, and another smaller split ring. So we'll put that to one side, and let's compare the two. Okay, so size wise, there's not really a difference. Maybe, do you know what? There's a slight difference. This is possibly slightly larger, and the thickness seems slightly different. The edges are more rounded on this, but only slightly. The connector point looks exactly the same, although I notice that doesn't come apart. See, there's two, but it doesn't come apart, whereas I know this does. See the way they're left freely to hang and wobble about and come apart. So there's one clue. Let's look at the top and let's see what else we can say. Right, well, in the middle I've noticed this has Nitecore written on it, which I'll get a close-up for you there. See, it says Nitecore. This one doesn't. It's blank. I suppose they can use that excuse if they're selling this in the market. They can say, it's not supposed to be a copy. No, the buttons are the same. Yeah, buttons are the same. Battery definitely different, not just a different colour, but smaller in size. You can see that straight away, the size difference. So I'll be interested. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check these. I'm going to put them both on full, which is 45 lumens for the Nitecore TUBE, and let them run, and we'll see what the runtime is. I'm presuming this one will be horrific and this one will be pretty good. Now the bottom just says tube. Now what about the bottom of this one? You see nothing, doesn't say anything. That looks poorly wrapped, that battery as well. Now really, if that is a lithium ion, they should be ashamed of themselves, because technically a lithium ion is quite unstable. It needs to be properly sealed and kept away from water. So everything else looks similar. So I'm interested to stick this on charge and see what the difference is. So whereas the fake had a little red light, I wonder what the real one does. So again, it's a micro USB, so we'll stick that in. different. The whole thing illuminates blue. That's quite interesting. Yeah, so there's a blue LED on the bottom of the PCB there, so that's interesting. So there's a difference there straight off. Now before I charge all these up, I just want to check the features. So you've got low, which is 1 lumen I think, and then high, you can ramp it up to high. There you go. So double click on this one, it gets you to high. So the UI is slightly different. There's no double click on this one, it doesn't work. You're either on low, on high, or hold and ramp. So on this one you've got low, high, low, high, low, high, and if you hold you can ramp it. See, it's ramping up. It's much quicker, so it ramps up and then resets, then ramps all the way up to 45 lumens, then back down again. It's interesting how this one you don't see the ramps, whereas this, when you're ramping it up, you see the little flickers as it goes through the different modes. So that the ramping is actually smoother on the Kubbi, even though that's a piece of junk, you know, unfortunately. So that's quite interesting. So double click for high there. That's interesting. So yeah, it feels smoother. You can see the ramp marks visually, whereas you can't on this, and the LED for charging is better, and I'm presuming the battery is going to be better. So I just wanted to bring people's attention to this, and thank you again to BlueCat786. He seems to know his stuff when it comes to the smaller units, you know, the really interesting compact units like this. So thank you very much. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a runtime test. So I'm going to predict that, you know, physics would dictate that you can't get as much lithium ion in there as you can in there. So physics would say that this has to last longer, but it'll be interesting to see, and we'll do a little test. Right, so let's discuss what happened there. So as you can see, the fake one didn't last as long as the real one. It was quite interesting what happened as well. On the fake one, you would think it would just die straight away, but it actually lasted around an hour. But having said that, and on closer inspection and comparing the two, I would suggest that this isn't outputting 45 lumens. Now 45 lumens is what the Nitecore TUBE should be outputting. If that's died at an hour, which is around what you should expect, an hour at 45 lumens. However, I think that's running at about 25 lumens, if that. And you'll be able to see that it definitely runs less, and there's no sort of step down at any point. It's simply a sort of dumb output and done, and then it turns off. So that being the case, if that's 25 lumens, that should last twice as long, so that should have lasted 2 hours. But there's no way that's the same size as the battery in the real one, which is probably around 80 to 100 milliamp hours. So that should have lasted 2 hours, and it didn't at that output. So poor. The real one, it still has a little bit of juice left. As you can see, I can put it back up to high mode there, or low mode, but if you noticed on high, after about an hour it started stepping down, and the battery died on the camera, so I couldn't test it any longer. And the reason for that was because it stepped down so far, it stepped down into the realms of the sort of 1 lumen mode. Now my battery on the camera doesn't last 48 hours, unfortunately, so I couldn't leave that running and the battery died. But it just shows you that I got about nearly 1 hour 30 and 1 hour 40 minutes out of that, and it was still going, and it still got juice. So even going by Nitecore's own figures, they've surpassed that. It's done an hour and then stepped down and continued. So well done, Nitecore. Excellent piece of kit. And it just shows you that the Kubbi, yes, it works, but you've got two problems. You're not going to get the same capacity. And on top of that, I don't like this battery. It looks like it's not been packed properly. And lithium ions have to be very carefully looked after. I mean, there may be a possibility that's a different chemistry, but if it is lithium ion, you've got to be very careful. So judging in mind that it doesn't have the markings, the battery's rubbish, the runtime's rubbish, the UI is slightly different and the charging light's different, I would suggest that this is a fake. And if that's the suspicion, I'm going to destroy this now. I'm going to drop kick it into the Tyne River, see how it likes that. But I will be keeping this because this is a good piece of kit. So there you go. So highly likely that's a fake, but I can't be sure. I'm certainly no expert, but it looks like it is. So thanks to Blue Cat for his comments. And Nitecore, brilliant job. You've surpassed your own figures, which I would expect because you're a high quality company. So that's all I've got to say on that. So look out for fakes.